Nobody blinked when McLaren showed pace, but nobody expected they'd been hiding a secret in plain sight. While the world chased lap times, McLaren was building a weapon, one they kept under lock and key, wheels masked, access denied, cameras shut out. Not even the FIA saw it coming. What many mistook for a clever brake duct was in reality the edge of a blade, razor-sharp engineering disguised in silence, a front suspension system so radical, so ruthlessly efficient it's torn up the playbook of what's legal and what's possible. Now for the first time the curtain is lifted. We see it, we understand it, and suddenly McLaren's dominance doesn't look like a fluke, it looks like a masterstroke. So the question is, have they just rewritten the rules of Formula One engineering? Or is this only chapter 1 of something even bigger? Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes? Yeah, they should have seen it coming. The hints were there from the start. Bahrain? McLaren's tyres were basically on cruise control. Australia? They just wouldn't fall off the performance cliff. And by the time we hit Miami, oh boy, thermal cams were lighting up the paddock like a conspiracy thriller. The MCL39? Running cold, running scary, consistent. Now Red Bull, the tyre whisperers of F1, were spooked. Moisture by the rear rims? Weird. Brake ducts too chill for 50-degree track heat? Suspicious. They hit the FIA with not one, but 2 protests. The result? Nada. Zilch. No active cooling, no sneaky pumps, no fluids playing hide-and-seek, just airflow, geometry, pure design sorcery. Then it happened. The reveal. Images and tech breakdowns started leaking, and what McLaren had pulled off was wild. They rewrote the suspension playbook with bold moves, multi-link setups, a reimagined upper wishbone, super aggressive anti-dive geometry, and brake ducts so slick they practically merged with the suspension arms. This wasn't bending the rules, it was bending expectations. This isn't the kind of tech you keep under wraps, unless it's something the rest of the grid can't even dream of copying. The outcome? A car that moves like it's on rails. The suspension locks in the chassis under braking, holds firm under throttle, and gifts the aero department a dream scenario. Flawless airflow, consistent downforce, and relentless grip. Not just for one lap, but every single stint. And here's the kicker, that so-called tyre cooling mystery, it was never the point. That was just a byproduct, a symptom of a car so well balanced it doesn't need to manage tyres, because it doesn't destroy them to begin with. McLaren's edge isn't in the surface, it's in the soul of the machine. To truly grasp how far ahead they are, you need to understand one thing, one game-changing concept: platform stability. And McLaren, they've mastered it like no one else. Since F1 rebooted the rulebook with ground effect in 2022, every team's been fighting the same invisible monster: instability. Pitch the car a few degrees too much under braking, let it roll an inch too far in a corner, and boom, downforce collapses. That's why porpoising wrecked everyone early on. And that's why the real war, it moved under the bodywork, into the suspension arms. Red Bull cracked the code first. Adrian Newey built anti-dive and anti-squat right into the DNA of the RB18. That laid the foundation for 2 years of dominance. But 2025, this is McLaren's time, and they didn't just borrow Red Bull's tricks. They took the whole concept and dialed it into another dimension. Their front suspension. It's the most aggressive anti-dive setup ever seen in F1. At first glance, it looked wild. But here's the thing, nobody really saw it. McLaren kept the visuals buried for months. Only now, with high-res photos and teardown analysis, are the details becoming clear. What's under that sleek orange skin is a multi-link masterpiece. A repositioned upper wishbone, a stretched-out lower leg, and a setup that isn't just reacting to the track. It's controlling the car's every move. And here's the jaw-dropper. The geometry creates a dynamic virtual steering axis. In plain English, McLaren's found a way to influence front-wheel behavior under load without a single moving part. Think of it as DAS 2.0, except this time it's legal, it's clever, and it's baked into the bones of the car. That virtual axis? Yeah, it's not just clever, it's game-breaking. McLaren's figured out how to vary toe angle live, in real time, with no moving parts. On the straights, it subtly straightens the wheels, slashing drag and cooling the front tyres. Hit the corners and bam, it dials in more bite, sharper response, and laser point precision. No pumps, no hydraulics, no black magic, just brutal, beautiful geometry. And it's not just theory, it's backed up by numbers. Sector 3 across the calendar, you know those tricky, low-speed grip zones that punish anyone with sketchy traction or cooked tyres? McLaren owns them, week in, week out, no matter the weather. The MCL39 just sticks. The drivers, they feel it too. Lando's actually called the front end numb, but not like something's wrong. It's so planted, so locked in that it barely wiggles. No chatter, no drama. In fact, it was too stable. So at the Canadian GP, McLaren tweaked the geometry, not to chase lap time, but to give Lando a bit more feel through the wheel. A sprinkle of spice on an already perfect recipe. Meanwhile, Oscar Piastri, he said, "I'm good, no changes, just confidence." Andrea Stella broke it down perfectly. This isn't about chasing tenths anymore. The grip's already there. The consistency, bulletproof. What they're doing now is sculpting the feel. They're syncing machine to mind. That's where McLaren is miles ahead. While Red Bull, Ferrari and Mercedes are still ironing out tyre temps and fighting balance shifts, McLaren's already in phase 2, tuning the car like an instrument, tailored to the driver's instincts. But it goes even deeper than clever geometry, because this suspension doesn't just keep the car level. It anchors the entire aerodynamic platform. Under braking, under throttle, over bumps, through high-load corners, it stays flat. That keeps the underfloor glued to the tarmac. The tyres stay calm. And McLaren, they push harder, last longer, and chew through less rubber in the process. While everyone else fades, McLaren holds the line. Lap after lap, corner after corner, that pace stays locked in. The grip doesn't fall off, the temperatures don't spike, and the competition, they've got nothing like it. Ferrari's still juggling front-rear balance like it's a circus act. Sometimes they're fast, sometimes they're lost, but qualifying remains their Achilles heel. Red Bull's been tinkering with cooling fixes, but the gap hasn't closed. Their early updates barely moved the needle. And Mercedes, they've made progress, sure, but it's baby steps. Their rear-end tweaks are only just starting to calm the car down. Meanwhile, McLaren's system, it works everywhere. In the heat, in the cold, at tracks where the rear slides or the front washes out. It may not headline with monster top speeds, but it wins where it matters. Consistency, tyre life, and balance that doesn't fade. This isn't just a car, it's a machine tuned for war. What we're seeing now is total integration. Mechanical grip, aero balance, tyre longevity, all singing in harmony, and the rest of the field scrambling to respond. Ferrari's lobbing updates like Hail Marys, chasing predictability that won't stick. Mercedes brought back their anti-lift rear suspension after shelving it, hoping to restore order. Red Bull, they're buried in simulator runs, testing passive compounds and airflow tricks, looking for answers. But here's the reality check. Even if they find something, it's too late. This isn't a bolt-on fix. McLaren's advantage was built in from day one. It's structural, it's philosophical, it's not something you copy mid-season. And by the time the others catch on, McLaren might already be gone. With 2026 looming, every team is now eyeing McLaren's suspension concept. It works, and the secrecy is over. Shielded wheels, closed garages, that's in the past. The paddock knows what McLaren built, but it's too late to copy it this year. The FIA noticed too. Quietly, they've updated the 2026 rules, banning any system that heats, cools, or regulates wheel, brake, or hub temperatures. Another clause now requires suspension fairings to be fully sealed, blocking airflow tricks. McLaren hasn't broken any rules, but their advantage won't last forever. For now, they have a window, the best car, unmatched tyre control, 2 drivers in sync, and a tech lead others can't replicate mid-season. So the question is, has McLaren already sealed the 2025 season? Can anyone catch them before the reset? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, goodbye for now.